All right, welcome back for part two of me reacting to James Kawalya. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sorry about that. I don't mean any disrespect by it. Just, I'm from America, so my pronunciations are a bit different. All right, so let's just jump into it. So the last part, okay, so if you missed part one, just go ahead and watch that. But now we're here for part two. So now James is being like there's something going on. Like they're feeling like their powers are going down, like the Satan people. And it turns out that there are a group of 20 illiterate women and one pastor. And they're in a 90-day covenant. If you want the details of the covenant, go watch the interview, and it's linked below. But they're in a 90-day covenant where they are praying, and they have no idea that their prayers are like closing the gate for Satan people. And so if they succeed, according to these Satanists, they would basically like ruin the Satanist people's cult or whatever for like 70 years in the spiritual world. So that just shows like you really don't know how much something that you're doing is impacting the entire spirit world. Like you don't know how strong your prayers are. So it's just important to keep praying, to keep going, because truthfully, honestly, had they kept going, things might have been different, but would have been different for 70 years. And that's a lot of time to plan. So who knows, potentially we can do something as a collective that will make it so they can't come back at all. You feel me? Anyway. So they were also praying for three things specifically. One was repentance, two was worship, and three was warfare. First of all, I didn't even know until today that you could pray warfare prayers. Like I had no idea. So I'm gonna look that up. But anyway, so they were basically generating powers, and their prayers, their covenant, their coming together was also reviving other churches in their area. It was also bringing people that were all going astray back into God's world. So they were not only impacting the Satanists, but they were also positively impacting their surroundings and didn't even know. So you know that them Satan worshipers was like, not today, Satan. Well, I guess they weren't saying not today, Satan. They were saying, not today, God. So, but James was specifically told not to frontal attack them because he would either be taken out or he would be converted. He ended up being converted, but he didn't get taken out. But it also shows that like when you are strong within the Lord and strong within Christ, and the Lord is the law of God, keep that in mind. But when you're strong in your connection with God, like those beings can't even touch you. They can't come near you. They can't F around and try to attack you. And I've noticed in my own personal life that when I'm not feeling good, that's when attacks come. But when I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm bossed up. I'm God up. I'm G'd up. I got my warrior. What's up? What's up? Then all of a sudden, everybody wants to be nice. Nobody wants to come up. But then you have to remember that's a strategy, because now they're just looking for another way to try to get you. They're just looking for another way to offend you so that when you get angry, your power is lost, and then they got you. And then they'll do everything to try to bring you down. But you can always rebound. You can always bounce back. You can always bounce back. Yeah, because I know they watching. Yeah, I said it. What's up? Anyway. So now the occult devil people are now studying them, right? They like have a whole investigation. And on the pastor, they have 500-page dossier for 10 generations back on this man. So it's like you're so threatened. First of all, you don't have anything else to do but come up with a dossier. And now this MF or James got to read all that stuff. Like, that is just absolutely insane. That's crazy. 500 pages of text about one person, and then you know that they had to read more pages for other people too. That was just the one, and there was 21 people in total. That just shows you the time and effort that these weirdos will go through to try to bring you down. And you don't even know. All you're doing is praying. You're not going there slaughtering people. You're not going there trying to take advantage of children. You are trying to stop that. And they have organizations of people who will try to stop you. That's just so weird. And that's also how you know how powerful we are, because if you got to send an army of beings to come, you send an army after a kingdom. So that means you are a walking kingdom. So can you imagine if even 2 of us came together and 3 of us came together, how we would be able to impact this entire planet? If even one person came, because if one person is enough to have an army of weirdo devil worshippers to try to come and attack them, how much power could 2 have? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I know you feel me on that one though, don't you? Because I'm feeling it, shoot. And they even they went into his ancestors to try to like discover patterns. So that's why it's important to keep evolving and get past the things that could have previously offended you, because you're gonna hear this later on, but that's very important. You got to be able to get past those things that offend you. You got to be able to get past certain things, because people will try to come after you just because they think that you are easily susceptible to certain things because they read it in your dossier. They ain't Google you, man. They dossiered you. They researched you on things you don't even know about your dang self, because you don't know your ancestor from 10 generations back. I know some of mine though. Anyway, so also, and this is the thing that is puzzling to me, is that even to participate in this, if they failed, these beings, these devil people, if they failed, then one of their loved ones would be sacrificed. So you mean to tell me that the cost of me helping you, if this don't work, is someone of mine gonna be taken? Like, why would you even want to be associated with such depravity? There's no honor among Satan worshipers. There's no loyalty. Because I'll be darned if you ask me for a favor and then say if it don't work out, I'm going to take somebody out. You got me effed up. You must done lost. You must done fell and bumped your dang on MF head. You must done be confused. Because that's crazy. And that's how you know the desperation of these people, that they would offer up another person. Offer your own self up. If it don't work out, y'all gone. Not and because it's cowards. You got to be a coward to do something like that, because a real MF would never offer up somebody else to handle what they did. They would take it on the chest. If we fail, we out. That's it. It's on us. But to be so cowardice, to be so much of a wimp, to say if we fail, I'm going to sacrifice someone else that has nothing to do with this. You're a coward, you're a wimp, and you're insignificant to do something like that. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. You so big and bad, but you can't take the consequences of your actions. You got to bring someone else into it. That's so ridiculous. Anyway, so now the first step was they wanted to infiltrate and get people to join, because part of the covenant was that they were going to do this alone with each other. They weren't going to let anybody else in. This is their thing, but it didn't work. They let this one lady in, and in the meantime, these weirdo Satan people are sending thousands of curses at them. They're sending, so there's curses all around them. And a curse lands when one of the women is offended because she has mommy issues, and the one woman says, okay, well, you just like your mama, something like that. And then the lady got offended, and so then in doing so, the whole covenant was cursed because of her getting offended. Some crazy stuff. Being offended is a gateway to let demonic forces in. And even me, I'm working on not being offended by stuff, and there's multiple times of trying. But at the end of the day, beginning of the day, everything between, God knows your heart and mind and soul anyway, and so God will protect you regardless. But at the same time, it's dang, you really got to be on your ABCs, not just your P's and Q's. You got to be on A, B, C, D, X, Y, and Z's. So they had a spy that come in, and so then the girl's in the group, right? And now she's giving them money. now she's helping them out. She's doing stuff. So you got to be wary of people that are so nice and they just, let me just do this for you. Let me offer this. Because a lot of times they might be the ones causing the problems too. You know, the Europeans did give the Native Americans syphilis blankets. That happened. Or smallpox blankets, one of the two. And so now that they accepted the money, now they couldn't reject them. So now the spy lady comes in and she brings another of the spies with her. So now there's 2 demonic beings in their sanctified group. Ciao. So then so now they're okay, now we're in here like swimwear, so let's target the priest now, the pastor guy. And so they couldn't attack him head on, remember. So now they're trying to get him to be stressed. They want to interrupt his morning devotion. They stalked this man so much that they knew that he prayed in the freaking morning. You got to have no life and a half to be all up in somebody else's business like this. Like, it's just weird. And so they wanted to separate his quiet time with God. So they gave his daughter eczema. Because they couldn't get him, but they could get his child, because he was not actively praying for her. So it's important to pray for your children every day. It's important to pray for the people you love every single day, because these weirdos out here are plotting and scheming. And because they couldn't get him, they went after his child. And you know, as an honorable person, you would think no one would ever do some fugazi BS like that, but that's what they did. They went after this man's child, his seed. That's just so ridiculous to me, man. Like, that's so crazy. You come after someone's child? What is wrong? But these are the same people that will take advantage of a child, like I mentioned in the first video, will take advantage of a child and steal their innocence for power. So clearly these people have no moral compass. They have no what's that thing? They have no boundaries that they won't cross, because if you'll take advantage of someone just to get ahead in life, like you don't care about yourself, you don't care about anything. It's just crazy. So now they get in his head. He's tired now because he's stressed out about his child. He has to take his child to the hospital. He doesn't drive, mind you. So now he's taking more money from this person. And then the lady, the spy woman, is like, okay, I'll take your daughter to the hospital. So then he lets her take his daughter to the hospital. And then she puts more curses on her. Be careful with who you leave your kids around, because even if they're not violating them in that way, they might be violating them in the spirit. You don't know. You really don't know. And then that made me be thinking, like, these teachers out here, y'all, we gonna get in on this. Okay? We gonna get in on this, because this is ridiculous. So now they're like, okay, now we got that. Now we're gonna separate him from the community. And I've noticed that more times when I'm alone and not with the people that really my riders, this sugar honey iced tea starts going left. But apparently when you're not around people that love you, you're a lot more vulnerable. So all of the 20 women he was with and the pastor, they were all in the same house. So now the spy woman who's giving him all the stuff, she helps him so much. Now she buys him a house, fully furnished with food that they've defiled. They got their blood juices on it, all type of stuff. They got him a house that's far away. And she's driving him, the spy woman. So she makes sure he's late to their praying sessions. It's just crazy. And so then he's like, at this point, it's just crazy. So another point that is aside from this is that one of the things that was wrong was that he didn't have anyone checking him. Like, hey, look, you're straying away from what you're supposed to be doing. Like, this is not in alignment. I thought how are you gonna, if you're always late, like why did this woman, if she's gonna buy you a house, why did she buy you a house so far away? She got all this money, she couldn't find a house that was down the street. She got all this money, and then they were like a house divided because some of the women were taking money for their businesses. So now they're having like a sense of loyalty because this person has helped them elevate their quality of life. But these beings are also poisoning them in the spirit. It's just absolutely insane. And that's not to say that money is evil. It's just to say that gifts given from the wrong being could be evil. So like they say, all money ain't good money. All energy ain't good energy. And it just is what it is. So that's something. So then the final blow that they really, really wanted, oh man, that second to last day, they only had one more day of their covenant, man. Dang. So anyway, they wanted the pastor to curse one of them. So I don't know what happened, but when the woman tried to help, when one of the convent ladies was trying to help him, he said, "Let me go, I'll kill you, let me go." And so she knocked him out, and then they got into a physical altercation, and from that they did not finish their covenant, and they only had one more day. You just never know how close and all they had to do was be like, look, something's going on here. Let's repent. And this is from James's mouth. Let's repent. You know, we're under attack. Something's going on. We don't usually act like this. And you know what's also? When new people come around and suddenly stuff starts going left for you, take them to the curb. Because none of this was, no one was able to discern. None of this was happening before they came around. We was good. We might have been where we were, but we was good. Now they're here, and now we're arguing. Now they're here, now we're not seeing eye to eye. Now they're here, and we ain't all here. Now they're here, and all this stuff is happening. Now they're here. Like you gotta, that's why it's important to stay grounded too, because when people try to infiltrate, it's coming from somewhere. And when you're able to identify, we wasn't having these problems until Shawty with the hair came over here. Shawty with the guap. She's the problem. So, you know, it's important to stay vigilant. It's important to stay humble too, because when your pride gets in the way, because the pride got in the way of them apologizing to each other and saying, okay, let's just make up. The pride and that feeling, ooh, I got money now, look at me. That feeling of importance got in the way of what they were here to do. And also, I'm not supposed to say that. Never mind. Okay, so now he's called back. James is called back to go back to school because they're like, okay, we got him. You heard that bird? Sheesh, well, they like got him like that. And so he goes back to his school or whatever, and they've infiltrated. They took these people out, and that was that. So now, on the 91st day, so the day after the covenant would have like banished evil type stuff, almost cussed, banished evil type stuff, he's like, okay, now I'm going to go to Europe. I'm going to go back, and he's going to be ordained. He's going to get all this money, because remember, he was sent there to do this thing by these dang on priests and devil worshippers from Italy, and that's a whole other conversation. We're going to get into that. He was sent there from them, and now he's going back to get his reward. And if this ain't a cautionary tale for somebody who wants to be in that lifestyle, I don't know what the F is. So he was about to go, and you know what, let me tell this part first. But then he finds out years later that they were going to eat him. They were going to take him out, and they were going to eat him, because apparently now he had energy that they required. So you mean to tell me that after he basically went and risked his life, ruined these people's lives, did all this stuff for you MFers, now y'all gonna try to eat me? And oh my gosh, sorry. I have a very active imagination, so I was just seeing that and oh God, that's horrible. Okay, come, bring it back, Yana. That is so nasty. That is so gross. What are they gonna do? Put some Old Bay on them? You know, those people can't even cook. They was gonna put them in salt and boil them or something. Like, what? Oh gosh. But yeah, they was gonna eat him. After all that, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no loyalty among these MFers. They was gonna eat this man after this, all the stuff he did for y'all. So, but God said no. Because on the day he was supposed to go, a 19-year-old girl was like called from God and was like, okay, go preach to this guy. And she's like, no, send somebody else. Not me. Get somebody else to do it. He was like, nah, it's you. So she's like, okay, bet. I'm going to go at 7 o'clock in the morning. So at least I can say I tried, because he's not going to be up. He was up. You know why? Because he was going to Rome to get eaten, unbeknownst to him. That's some weirdo stuff right there, man. That's some real weirdo stuff. To eat somebody? Like, come on now. And then they got the nerve to call other people savages. No, you're a savage. Freaking bastard. Okay. Anyway. Cause I'm just saying, like, that's real crazy. You got me out here doing all this stuff, and then your gift in return is to eat me. And then it's like, how would anyone in that space feel okay in that? Like if they would do that to him, what the F would they do to yo bald-headed bougie head self? Oh, H to the is no. So anyway, so he's about to leave, and she calls his name. She's like, James. He don't turn around. He ignores her because at his school he's called Master, and you address him as such. And people that need to be addressed, like all these people, like, call me Dr. So and so. You might need to pipe back down. See you. Drive safe. Wherever you're going, you might need to pipe down. So that's crazy. So then she calls him again, James, and he ignores her. Then he calls her. She calls him a third time, and apparently in their cult stuff, if you say somebody's name or you challenge somebody 3 times and they don't respond, you've defeated them. So he turns around. He's like, "Oh, I'm ready for war now. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You won't be walking around this campus. I'm gonna get you." But when he turned around, right, she had like blasts of like light coming out of her eyeballs, and like he was under attack. So he's like, "Oh, it's a battle. It's a battle you want to do. You want to throw down. All right, let me handle this light work right quick." So then it turns out not to be light work. You know why? Because she's whooping his tail. So then he gets angry, right? Because she has the power to make him angry. So in that moment, he lost his power, because apparently when you get angry, you lose your power. You immediately lost. But regardless of whether he got angry or not, he still would have lost to this one girl. And so he calls for backup. He's like, all my goons come out. So in the spiritual world, and apparently she couldn't see them, there was like 600. They were deep. And he said even like Lucifer was there. But like they were 600 deep against this one girl. There were 600 devil people in the battle. And so apparently the girl is like, she's like, okay, hearing from God, like, be still and know that I am God and stay calm. So that's what she did. So she's still just looking at him with a smile on her face. So then he's like mustering up the courage, because at this point he's a little bit freaked out. So he's colluding with the 600. He's like, all right, next time I look up, it's a wrap for you, baby. So he looks up, and there's a pillar of light. And then what he says is Jesus comes out. Now, he ain't described what Jesus looked like or nothing like that, but he said Jesus walked out of the pillar. And then all the demons ran screaming away, even Lucifer, who apparently was there as well. And they ran from this being. And in that moment, and they ran screaming, not just like ran like, huh? I would be like, if any of the 600 from that point on, I would be looking at them like, you punk AB, you punk. You didn't even stand 10 toes. You could abuse children. You could take advantage of other people, just like a typical abuser. You can bully people, but you can't stand up when a real OG is in your face, though. You must be a coward. That's what I said earlier. Those people are cowards, because when you can't stand on your own and you rely on other people, unfair advantages, you are a coward. Because stand by yourself and see what happens. Come to the fight with knuckles instead of a gun, and watch who gets knocked out. It just is what it is. When the playing field is fair, them MFs can't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance against God. It is what it is. And you know, God, like the God being, because I don't necessarily believe in Jesus the way that other people do. So I just want to make that statement. God will appear to you however you need to receive that, to receive him and receive her, receive the higher power, point blank, period. So however God needed to be seen, showed up as Jesus. So I wanted to make that clear. So then, now he's on his own. All the demons are gone. And this is the first time he's like, oh, I'm up against this sorcerer woman by myself. And so now she starts walking towards him, right? And he's like, oh cheese, what I'm gonna do now? And as she's walking, the ground is like vibrating under him, and he's frozen. He can't even move at this point, right? And you know what she does? Stay tuned. It's like, nah, I'm just joking. She gives him a hug, and then he starts crying, and she starts crying, because that is the first time in his life, first of all, the first time he got a hug, and the first time he cried. So you mean to tell me, even when he was so used to depravity, that when he was being abused by those priests in Italy, he didn't cry? That's crazy. And so he cried that first time. That's how you know there's strength in tears too. And some people will say like, oh, you know, it's sensitive. You're sensitive to cry. It's a good thing to cry. Crying is powerful. Biatch. Hey, I'm me, shoot. So after that, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna turn my life around to God. I'm gonna do godly things. And so you think it's like, okay, happy, end of the story. Wrong. His businesses are closed by the government. His 2 houses are burned to the ground. And basically he has the equivalent to not a dang on thing anymore. And then he went to jail. And they tortured him in jail, and they were like, you're going to come back to us. You're going to come back to us. And they're torturing him. And my thing is like, you think like your way to get someone back is to torture them? What is wrong with these people? And the thing is like, at any moment, that could be you. But you're content to continue hanging out with the group that could potentially eat you? Weird. Real weird. So then eventually, like 6 or 7 months later, he gets out of jail. Mind you, he's malnourished. He ain't got no food. He ain't had no light. Like just real crazy situation. So now he's like praying for like 12 hours with the girl. And then they have like a group. And in 3 years, she dies, by the way. But they also free, I think they said like 20 something other men who were imprisoned by this satanic cult as well. And so, yeah, so that happens. And then a couple years later, he starts dating this girl, and they're about to get married. It's like 10 days to their wedding. And 10 days to it, she has a dream. They both have dreams on the same day, the woman he's going to marry and James. And the woman's dream is that this old woman is chasing her and beating her up. And in his dream, this old woman is like, my husband, remember that biatch? So apparently all the other girls that he was like dating, once they got to like the 6-month mark, it was kind of over. But all the other girls he dated in the past, something bad happened to him. Because remember that old hag, the one booby lady from previously that his mother married him off to as a 1-day-old newborn? She was taking people out that wanted to be with him. Like, that's crazy. And so then he gets bitter, and he kind of gets mad at God, because like, it's like, dang, like this is supposed to be my wife, blah 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 blah. And then he gets sick, and he collapses, and he gets diagnosed with stage 4 leukemia. I was like, dang, can't catch a break. Sheesh. And he's like 27, 28 at this time. So he now has stage 4 leukemia. It's so crazy. And then he ends up going blind, because in chemo, something went wrong. And then he ended up going blind. So for a year at this point, he's in the hospital. And on top of that, he's paralyzed and he can't talk. So he's basically a human vegetable zombie at this point, and his skin is rotting off. I'm like, what? Because me, the first time I heard it, so I was like, you know what? Oh my goodness. Yes, so this is the part where he becomes, this is the part where he's saved. This is the part where I was full bamboozled. That's the part where it got worse. It seemed like almost. So for a year, he's in the hospital, and this woman comes and reads the Bible to him, but she can't even go in the room because they said that the vibration of interaction would take this man out. So all he can do is hear and just lay there for a year. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I wouldn't, but that don't mean somebody else wouldn't. Anyway, so this woman decides to start reading 25 chapters of the Bible to him through the door. And on the day God said to her to stop, they discharged him from the hospital and said that he was basically good as gone and there was nothing else that they could do for him. So you got to take him out, deuces kind of thing. So then he gets home, and his mom at this point is praying that he goes because he's in such pain. So she wants him to be unalive at this point, which is, I was just thought that was mind-boggling. And so then suddenly when he gets home a couple days later, what appears to him as Jesus appears, and Jesus said, I'll heal you, and I'll heal you from the direct quote from the video, from the rebellion of your bloodline. Now go heal my people. So he was healed, and at that point forward, he was free of cancer. So then he started ministering, and it was just crazy from there. And so then he met his soon-to-be wife, and her face had a deformity, and then that was healed. And then they started dating for 6 months, but then after 6 months, she was like, I don't really want to be your wife. Oh, and in between that, in the meantime, once her face was healed, she went back to him because her fiance, so the woman that God said, this is going to be your wife, turned out she was already engaged, and she wanted him to pray that her fiance would come back and that they would be able to get married. And so he was like, no, you don't be my wife. So then, whatever happened, they ended up getting married though. So that all worked out. Excuse me. And so before they ended up getting married though, she's like, you know what, this is not working out for me after the 6-month period. I'm done with you. And then he kicks her out of the church. So then someone in his church says, I think you should go to this deliverance conference. And so he's like, I don't really want to go to that. I am a pastor. I do deliver people. I don't want to go to this conference. But he ends up going anyway. And he doesn't have no money. So he has to sleep in the bush. And this is a 7-day conference. So after the 7th day, he's sleeping in the bush just like his mother had to. He don't have no money. He don't really have nothing to eat. And he's praying in the daytime. So he's praying, and then he's going to this conference, and he's sleeping outside. So then after the 7th day, he's like, okay, now the guy's going to teach us how he's going to deliver us. The guy was like, actually, there's more that I have to teach you, and it's going to take another 7 days to deliver this message. So now, just like his mom was in that evil forest for 14 days, now he's in the prayer mountain for 14 days as well. So it's it all came back to a balance, which I thought was insane. And then he had to pay for the sins of his mother by doing that. So now he's thinking he gets there, and then the deliverance day comes, and he's thinking nothing really happened. Once again, you do not underestimate the power of prayer is what I really learned from this, because he's this guy is not even jumping around. He's not, nah. He's a very peaceful preacher, pastor, whatever. And so James is I don't really think this really worked, but turns out it did, because then he passed out and flew to the front of the church. So everybody's praying for him, and apparently he had a what's it called? What's that thing called? His umbilical cord. His umbilical cord was buried in Tanzania, and it was used for rituals. I don't remember which country he was in at this point, but it wasn't Tanzania. So after he comes back, they're praying for him, he wakes up, and the umbilical cord that they used for rituals was in his pocket. It was in his pocket, y'all. It was in his MFing pocket. So, right? Okay, so then when he goes home, he burns it, And at this point, he realized, like, God delivered me. He burns it. And then when he gets home, there is a dead python on his bed. And remember, when he was a baby, there was a python on his bed. So at that point, he said he knew he was delivered. And then that's when the woman, the deformed faced woman that was healed, decided that she did want to marry him. So he knew he was fully delivered, because that was when he became a husband. That was when the umbilical cord came back. And that was when, what was the other thing? That was when the snake was there. I was like, whoa, man, whoa. Like I said, you just gotta watch it, because this video was so impactful. It's like 4 hours. So my like 2-part recap definitely, I think, did it justice. But definitely go watch the whole interview, because the interviewer was amazing. But also, like, you'll probably get like tips and things that I didn't say, because there's no way I could tell you the whole 4 hours. And then there was other things that happened later, but I just really wanted to tell his portion of the story, because I was just like mind blown. I was like, whoa kind of thing. So before we end, I want to do like a prayer, a real prayer of healing and anointing for all of us. So this will be a quick one. So great being that protects, that gives life, that gives love, I ask that you guide us in these days, and that you protect us, and that you deliver us, repent us, cleanse us of all sins, cleanse us of weakness, cleanse us of things that we don't understand, cleanse us of challenges, make our paths clear, protect us in these days. Make sure that anyone that tries to come up against us will be taken out instantly, immediately. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. In fact, they shall ricochet onto whoever, they shall ricochet onto whoever sent it to us. Any curse, any lower thing, anything that should not be in our experience is ricocheted, rebounded, and intensified. Return to sender. Return to the highest power and authority of those satanic beings who want to have horrible things happen in this world. Allow us to be cleansed. Allow our minds to be whole. Allow our bodies to be in strength. Allow all of us, our fragmented portions of our soul, to be reconnected to ourselves. Bless James. Bless the interviewer. Bless us. Bless me. Bless all of us in this world. May we have whole hearts, whole minds, whole spirits, patience. Give us divine wisdom. Give us divine knowledge, so that we may know when someone is trying to trick us. Give us the wisdom, the intellect, the love, and the prosperity to protect ourselves. Enrich our pockets with clean money. Enrich our ideas with clean thoughts. Enrich our mind, bodies, and spirits. Send to our younger selves the self that was hurt, the self that was in pain, the self that still has anger. Heal that version of us, so that we may see that too shall pass. This too shall pass. Whatever we are going through, whatever struggle, whatever trauma, we know that we are bigger than it. And allow our testimony, allow everything about us to heal and heal someone else. Allow the stories that we have to heal ourselves. Allow us sharing our knowledge to heal ourselves, to heal someone else, and to free us of any shackles, any burdens, anything that is trying to bring us down. Let us be freed from it. And if any enemy, unknown or known, dare to raise a hand, dare to raise a thought, dare to raise anything against us indirectly or directly, or to anyone we love, may they be instantly punished and instantly rewarded with all that times 1,000 infinity of what they tried to reap in our lives. It is so. Amen. See you next time.